Shabbat Shalom, Hebrew Israelite family, glory and honor to our Father Yahweh, the creator of heaven and earth, our creator, our God, the Most High. Glory and honor to the Messiah, the only begotten Son of Father Yahweh, YHWH, who is perfect righteousness on our behalf at the right hand of the Father, as well as our atonement for sin. Praise Father Yahweh and Messiah, YHWH, the soon returning King. Greetings to the 12 awakening tribes of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to the 144,000 among them, the forerunners of the return of Messiah and the establishment of the Messianic kingdom. Greetings to the precious souls from among the children of Ham, Shem, and Japheth that are not of the bloodline, but are of the blood through the faith of the Messiah, which is Father's righteousness and atonement for sin. Greetings to the chat, Brother Gary, Joseph, Yafi, Sister Daniels, Imana Prakash, Sister Love Blue, Brother Baldy Thorpe, Relaxing Your Mind, Arkawan Banya, Superstar Stephen Kelly, Tito Bonwia Thesia, and Sister Kyra Cross, Brother Brandon Beckman, Naviska 23, Mike Check. Greetings to all of you. Did I miss anybody? Brother Lonnie, Isha Shama, greetings to you. Shabbat Shalom to all of the families. We are continuing our study today in the book of Deuteronomy. We are continuing our study where the Most High, in the beginning, the Most High named the children of Israel. Yahweh called Moses. Yahweh spoke to Moses. These be the words. Praise the Most High. So, we're in chapter 3. What we're going to see in chapter 3 is Israel is coming through. They're beginning to come through now. They have now passed Esau's property that was given to him. They have passed Moab's property that was given to him. They had passed Ammon's property that had given to him. And they began to now deal with some of the kings that were not of Abraham's family or bloodline or seed like Lot, but were in the way and were going to have their land taken by the children of Israel. As we're looking at these be the words, we should, of course, understand that these be the words are not only the history of our family, and this is very important, particularly when we get to chapter 4, may get to chapter 4 by tomorrow, if the Father wills it. That's the history of our family. This is the history of our family. And being that it is our family history, in fact, the Bible is in part our history book, and we really should treat it as such. And we should teach our children and our grandchildren about our history. So many of us, as we are very well aware, didn't know who we were before we were awakened. And not knowing who we were, we really had no history. And many of us and our people spend a lot of years trying to find out about themselves and our history. And some people travel to many countries trying to find out about themselves. And here, all the time we are awakening, it was right here. But the problem, of course, was we were brainwashed by people that used the Bible to deceive us, and thereby keeping what is in plain sight hidden from us. I say that again, keeping what is in plain sight hidden from us, until the Most High revealed to us through the words who we were. And understanding now who we are, we have a history. And this book is our history. Now, it matters not, and this is one of the things that I myself have received freedom from, and I know some of you have as well. It matters not if our enemies believe that. It doesn't matter if our enemies believe it or not. It's actually quite irrelevant whether they believe it or not. It's actually their blessing to believe it. It's for their blessing. If they don't believe it, if they want to act like it never happened, if they want to act like whatever, that's the curse on them. And reason why is, what was the promise? And let's take a look again at Numbers chapter 24. Numbers chapter 24. Numbers chapter 24. Thank you, Arkawan Banya. Numbers chapter 24. As Balaam is giving Balak the history, the future of us. I'm going to begin at he's describing Israel or Yashar'Al. I'm going to start at verse 5 of Numbers chapter 24. I'm going to read from verse 5 of Numbers chapter 24 down to verse 9 of Numbers chapter 24. This is Numbers chapter 24 from verse 5 to verse 9. How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel. As the valleys are, they spread forth, as gardens by the river's side, as the trees line aloes, which Yahweh hath planted. As cedar trees beside the waters, he shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. The Most High brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. He eateth up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones, and pierce them through with arrows. He coucheth. He lay down as a lion, as a great lion. Who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee. Now we know our Heavenly Father said that to our father Abraham. We know he also said it to Jacob. And now we see here in Numbers, he said it for the whole nation. So I say again, if our enemies don't want to believe who we are, they lose their own blessing. They're cursing themselves. And that's actually their business. But for us, we must understand who we are, and we must understand our history. In the book of Deuteronomy, these be the words, are our history. And so part of the Bible is our history, and we need to learn that for ourselves and teach our children and our grandchildren and whoever wants to hear our history of who we are. And it's also prophecy, so that things that happened previously are a sign of things to happen. For example, the Messiah's name is YHWH, which means Yah exists to save. The man appointed to lead the children of Israel into the promised land in Moses' day, his name was YHWH. Yah exists to save. In fact, his name was Hawashai. And then Moses changed his name to Yahweh. We in English, in the Christianity Europeanized version of religion, we call him Joshua. But his name is Yahweh, just like the Messiah's name is Yahweh. Now let me ask you, Joshua Yahweh was chosen to lead the children of Israel into the land of Canaan. And the Father's Son, Yahweh, is chosen to lead the children of Israel and take over this entire planet. Now, do you think that it's coincidental that they shared the same name? Do you think that's by accident that they should? Of course not. So that the first Joshua, being appointed and ordained to lead our fathers across Jordan into the promised land, is a sign of the second one that's going to come. So that when we're now reading Deuteronomy chapter 3, what you're reading is a prelude of other prophecies. It's a prelude of other prophecies. What prophecies? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look first at something we read recently in Revelation chapter 19. You see, when the Messiah returns, we're going to be coming through. And we're not coming through just to hang out. We're coming through to take over. Revelation chapter 19, beginning at verse 11. Revelation chapter 19, beginning at verse 11, and going from verse 11 down to verse 21. Revelation chapter 19, verse 11 to verse 21. What it says, first witness, John. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. He had a name written that no man knew but he himself, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Al Shaddai. And on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he had cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Most High, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. Witness one, when Israel comes through. Witness one. Okay, on our way back to the Old Testament, let's visit the brother that was assigned, to the Hebrews. There was a brother of the apostles that was, as Paul was assigned to the Gentiles. This brother was assigned to the Hebrews. He was assigned to reach the Hebrews. And just as most, even Christians understand that Paul's writings were to Gentiles, this brother, which they don't understand, this brother's writings were to the Hebrews. And there was at least, I would say, well, we know that there was at least 3 of the apostles, that would be Peter, James, and John, who were appointed to reach the Hebrews with the message of the Messiah. Well, I'm going to read from Peter, 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm going to read 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse, I'm going to start at verse 7. Yeah, seven's a nice number. I'm going to start at verse 7, and I'm going to read from verse 7 down to verse 13. This is 2 Peter, or Kapha, or Shimeon, chapter 3, from verse 7 to verse 7 to verse 13. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with Yahweh as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Yahweh is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Second witness, when Israel comes through. Now, we actually could look at some more New Testament witnesses, but I like to look at the prophets, right? So let's go back and let's see. Zechariah. Well, there's so many. This is our third one, right? So we got John, we got Peter, now Zechariah, our third witness about Israel coming through. Zechariah. And we could do Malachi too. Yeah. Well, let's go to Zechariah. So Zechariah chapter 14. Zechariah chapter 14. Let's see. I am going to begin. Where would I like to start here? Zechariah chapter 14. Okay. I'm going to begin at verse 12. Zechariah, since we got so many witnesses to go through on this is our third one in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. But since this is deep, we're going to have 4 or 5 witnesses. So here's another witness. So we have John, we have Kapha, Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 14. I'm going to begin at verse 12. And we'll go from verse 12 down to verse 14. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. So shall, that was it. So we can see when we come through, we take it and we delivering righteous judgment and taking the gold, the silver, and all their precious things. Yes, that was Zechariah. And that was a witness. All right. Let's see. Zephaniah, one of the other prophets. Not Zechariah too, but Zephaniah. This is our fourth witness. Zephaniah, chapter 3. This is our fourth witness. Zephaniah, chapter 3. This is when Israel comes through. Zephaniah, chapter 3, beginning at verse 8. Zephaniah chapter 3, beginning at verse 8. I'm going to see, where should I go to? Oh, I'm going to go from verse 8. I got to read from verse 8 down to verse 20. Zechariah chapter 3. I want you to note Zephaniah chapter 3. I want you to note where we fled to when we left out of our land, when we were kicked out by the Romans. I want you to take note where we fled to. Zephaniah chapter 3 from verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people of pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, we'll return. That means we went through the rivers of Ethiopia. Well, let me ask y'all, where is Ethiopia? Translation would be Cush. But where is Ethiopia anyway, that we went through and we got to return? Oh, yes, it's in Africa. Okay. So from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed shall bring mine offering. In that day thou shalt not be ashamed for all thy doings wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride. And thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahweh. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lay down, and none shall make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion, shout, O Israel, be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Yahweh hath taken away thy judgment. He hath cast out thine enemy. The King of Israel, even Yahweh, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil any more. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not. And to Zion, let not thine hands be slack. Yahweh thy most high in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, and who are of thee, to whom the reproach was a burden. Was our reproach a burden to us? Or should I say, has our reproach been a burden to us? Well, he says here, to whom the burden of it was a reproach. I'm going to gather you. And behold, at that time, I will undo all that afflict thee. I will save her that halteth and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. Every land. At that time, I will bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith Yahweh. That is when we come through. That is when we come through. That was, how many witnesses was that? That was 4 witnesses, right? John, Peter, Zechariah. We just skipped over Malachi. We could have used that. Zephaniah. Wait a minute. We got more. We got more. We got a lot of more. We got a lot of more. We got a lot of more. Our brother. Let's see. our brother Obadiah, our brother Obadiah, Obadiah, our brother Obadiah didn't have a lot to say, but he had something to say from the Most High. He didn't have a lot to say, but he had something to say. Let's see. Obadiah is only one chapter. I'm going to begin at verse 15. Obadiah, verse 15. I'm going to read from verse 15 down to verse 21. This is our fifth witness when Israel comes through. In the mouth of two or three witnesses, let every word be established. This is our fifth witness. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as they have drunk upon my holy mountain, so the heathen have drunk upon our fathers' holy mountain. And he's talking about Edom. For as they have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistines. And they shall possess the field of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. And the captivity of the host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites unto Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. Saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh's. Fifth witness, that was our fifth witness when Israel come through. Oh, we got a lot of more. We got a lot of more, don't we? We got a lot of more, but I'm just going to use a few more. Let's just use a few more. Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah. Oh, wait a minute. We here in Ezekiel. We might as well stop here. We here in Ezekiel. Oh, Ezekiel. Now, whereas Obadiah didn't say a whole lot, Ezekiel said a lot, bro. Ezekiel had a lot to say. Praise the Most High. Ezekiel had a lot to say. All right. All right. Let's see here. Ezekiel. Man, there's so much in Ezekiel. We could spend a whole lot of time here, but we're not going to do it right now. But we could, though. Man, look. This Ezekiel, I'm going to go to Ezekiel chapter. Man. I'm going to go Ezekiel chapter 48. Ezekiel chapter 48. This is how we dividing the land up. See, we're going to be dividing the land up like they did originally. We're going to do it again by tribe. We're going to get our own land, and it's going to be divided up by tribe. Let me see. Ezekiel chapter 48. Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to start at verse, for the sake of time, I'm going to start at verse 29. There's a lot more, though. I mean, there's a lot in Ezekiel. Ezekiel 39, Ezekiel 38, 37, 36. There's a lot in Ezekiel, okay? But let's, for the sake of time, let's start at chapter 48, verse 29, and go down to verse 35, okay? Ezekiel chapter 48, from verse 29 down to verse 35. What number of witnesses is this now? This is 6, I think, isn't it? Oh, it's appropriate for us to get 7 witnesses, isn't it? This is our 6th witness. Yeah, I think it's our 6th one. So now, am I right about that? Let me see. John, Peter, Zechariah, Zephaniah, Obadiah. This is our 6th witness. That's right. This is our 6th one. Okay, this is Ezekiel chapter 48 from verse 29. Thank you, Brother Gary Joseph. Down to right. We ain't even messed with them yet. We ain't even messed with them yet. But we're going to. He's talking about Joel. We got Joel too. And we got Jeremiah. And we got Isaiah. Lots of witnesses in there. But for the sake of Weothesia, our brother, we'll go to Joel. but before we do that, let's get this sixth one. Six, man, can you imagine at least 7 witnesses on this subject? Can't deny this doctrine, right? Because it's right here. Okay. This is the land which ye shall divide by lot unto the tribes of Israel for inheritance. And these are their portions, saith the Most High Yahweh. He didn't already went over it. We didn't read it all. But he's at the end. He's telling you, this is the land you're going to divide by lot by your tribes. See? So we coming through and we taking our land. Obadiah just told us we're going to take everything that belonged to Esau, the Canaanites, the Philistines. We're going to take the whole land and divide it by lot, by tribe. Praise the Most High. Verse 30. And these are the goings out of the city on the north side, 4,500 measures. I want you to notice they're measuring Jerusalem. Where else did you see a measurement of Jerusalem? Think about that. Verse 31. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel. 3 gates northward, 1 gate Reuben, 1 gate Judah, 1 gate Levi. And at the east side, 4,500. And 3 gates. 1 gate Joseph, 1 gate Benjamin, 1 gate Dan. And at the south side, 4,500 measures. 3 gates, 1 gate Simeon, 1 gate Issachar, 1 gate Zebulun. And at the west side, 4,500 with their 3 gates. 1 gate Gad, 1 gate Asher, 1 gate Naphtali. It was round about 18,000 measures. And the name of the city from that day shall be, Yahweh is there. That's Ezekiel's witness. That's right, superstar. It was Revelation. Revelation chapter 21. Same thing. See, John was just seeing what Ezekiel already saw. Praise the Most High. So that's our 6th witness. Well, brother said Joel. So let's go to Joel then. Joel chapter 3. That's right. Joel chapter 3. That's right. I'm going to start at verse 7. That's right. Joel chapter 3 from verse 7. I'm going to start at verse 7 as the brother suggested. And I'm going to go from verse 7 down to verse 17. Okay. This is Joel or Yashar'Al chapter 3 from verse 7 down to verse 17. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. Talking about us. Where they sold us. And will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah. And they shall sell them to Sabians. Shall sell them to Sabians to a people far off. For Yahweh hath spoken. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares and swords into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Hey, didn't we see imagery of a sickle before? Didn't we, superstar? Where did we see the image of the sickle, superstar? Where was that, brother? I know you know. That's right, Revelation again, chapter 14. So I guess John saw what Joel saw. Praise the Most High. All right, let's keep reading. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. So we know what time it is, right? And we know what feast it is, right? Praise the Most High. For the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The vats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahweh also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake, but Yahweh will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am Yahweh your Most High, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. Praise the Most High. So this whole reaping thing, we've seen it in Joel, Revelation, right? And we know it is the Feast of Tabernacles in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. And of course, let's just step 1 second back to Zechariah for a second, okay? Let's just step 1 second back to Zechariah, speaking of the Feast of the Tabernacle, because we know it's the Feast of the Tabernacle, but Zechariah is going to confirm that. Okay, brother Zechariah is going to confirm that. This is Zechariah chapter 14, where we were just at. Zechariah 14, our 5th witness. Okay, watch this. We're going to begin where we left off at verse 16 of chapter 14, Zechariah 14, verse 16. Verse 16 down to verse 21, Zechariah 14, 16 to 21. The harvest, the reaping, the sickle, right? Okay, notice. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Look at that. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. That's the return of Messiah, the Feast of Tabernacles. See, this is the thing, brother. There's some things we may not be sure about, but one thing I am 110% certain, the Messiah will return at the Feast of Tabernacles. He's going to come back at the Feast of Tabernacles. I mean, we got too many witnesses, right? We talking about Revelation. We talking about what? We just read Joel. We talking about Zechariah. We know he's returning at the Feast of Tabernacles in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Let every word be established. Okay, wait a minute. And this shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto Yahweh. And the pots of Yahweh's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. And every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto Yahweh of hosts. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them and seed therein. In that day there shall be no more Canaanite in the house of Yahweh of hosts. Feast of Tabernacles, soon on tap. See, even if, by chance, right, I got the year wrong. Let's say I did. I ain't got the time of the year wrong. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be in the fall. It's going to be in the fall. It's going to be in the 7th month of the fall. I'm telling y'all 7+ years from now, 2032 or before. But whatever, it's going to be in the fall. That's the reaping time. We done already had the Passover. We done already seen the first fruits. We're already in right now the Day of Atonement. The sealing is about to take place. The only thing left is the Feast of Tabernacles, where the brethren are having palm branches in their hand and 144,000 harps. That's all that's left. The reaping. Praise the Most High. The harvest. That's right. So we already know that's coming. That's coming down, brethren. That's coming down for real. So now we have 7 witnesses about how Israel coming through. Now, when we're looking at Deuteronomy 23, you're going to see the prelude to all that we just read. You're going to see the prelude to all. And I could have gave you more. Like I said, I didn't even go to Isaiah or Jeremiah or Malachi. I didn't even do that. We didn't even do the Psalms. We could have done all of that. We could have done all of that. See, but we didn't. We just used 7. Listen. So wait, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So there's no doubt about this doctrine of Israel coming through. Is that correct? I mean, am I right about that? There's no doubt about this doctrine. There ain't going to be no secret rapture where a whole bunch of white Christians go up into the sky, right? That ain't happening. Israel coming through. We're coming through. We got 7 witnesses. Somebody said, well, where you get that crazy doctrine? We got 7 witnesses from the Bible. And we didn't even use all of them. We didn't even use all of them. We used 7. We could have got a lot of more, right? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, now let's go to Deuteronomy. chapter 3, because this is where Israel came through. Okay, now it started in chapter 2. But it's going to come strong in chapter 3. Yes, Deuteronomy. These be the words. In the beginning, the Most High named the children of Israel. Yahweh called Moses. Yahweh spoke to Moses. These be the words. Chapter 3. This is Deuteronomy chapter 3. I'm going to begin at verse 1. I'm going to begin at verse 1, and I'm going to go down from verse 1 down to verse 12 to start us off. This is Deuteronomy chapter 3 from verse 1 to verse 12. These be the words. Then we turned and went up by the way of Bashan. And Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. And Yahweh said unto me, fear him not, for I will deliver him and all his people and his land into thy hand. And thou shalt do unto him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. So Yahweh our Most High delivered into our hands Og also, the king of Bashan, and all his people. And we smote him until none was left to him remaining. And we took all his cities at that time. And there was not a city which we took not from them, 80 cities. All the region of Argob, the kingdom of Og and Bashan. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, besides unwalled towns and a great many. And we utterly destroyed them, as we did unto Sihon, king of Heshbon, utterly destroying the men, women, and children of every city. Somebody's going to say, why the children? Children are under the charge and judgment of their parents, unfortunately. And it also follows, all of us are children of Adam. And as Adam sinned, as our parent, his sin traveled to us. And then we became born again and came back to our true parent, Father Yahweh. And so we can take after our father. But there are others that take after their father, the father of lies. And unfortunately, the father of lies children are going to perish. And the children of their children will perish unless they come to our Father. Does that make sense, y'all? I know people are going to say, that was so cruel. He killed the children. I ain't going to say it wasn't ugly now. But look, I'm telling you, our God is righteous in all his ways. All his ways. So all of us are or were diseased with sin because of our father, Adam. He passed that on to us. And then we became born again and came back to the original father, and we're under him, perfect righteousness. But there are those children on the planet whose father is Asatan. The Bible says, and the world worshiped him. And the world didn't say that. It said all the world followed after him. That is why, again, brethren, I want to stress the importance of us surrendering to our Father through the Messiah, that we might receive the latter rain power, because the words that we will bring forth with that latter rain power will save many children. And I mean that. See, the thing is, the most pliable minds are young minds. So when the 144,000 bring a message, you're going to see youngsters depart from their parents because they're going to be following their conviction, and they will come. You're going to see a lot of teenagers come to this truth. A lot of children. You're going to say, man, they so young. The Most High is calling them, even from their parents. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, that ye receive not of her plagues. There's going to be children that hear this message, and they're going to come. And they're not going to understand the word as good as you and me, but the spirit of conviction will be on them and they will follow it. Okay? They will follow it. That's right. So, brethren, children that stay with their parents, unfortunately, going to get what their parents get. If their parents has the wrong daddy. That's where we at. Well, apparently, Bashan's families had the wrong daddy. Deuteronomy chapter 3. Beginning at verse 7. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took for a prey to ourselves. They had a lot of cattle, you know. Israel, over 1 million people, had cattle on top of cattle. You don't think these brothers had plenty of steak? Yeah, they did. You don't think they had plenty of milk? Yeah, they did. You don't think they had plenty of cheese? Yeah, they did. Talk about your organic, free range, grass-fed beef. Our fathers had it going on. Before there ever was a Texas, there was us. Before there ever was an Oklahoma, there was us. Before there ever was cattle ranchers, and ever was the United States, there was us. And they had cattle. What you think, they had them cattle for pets? That's what you call organic free range, baby. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And that's when you make coats out of it. Indians learned to make houses out of it, didn't they? The northern tribes made houses out of it, didn't they? Yes, they did. They made houses. They made coats and skins. Okay? They made clothes out of the wool from the sheep. They sheared the sheep. They made clothes out of it, blankets out of it. That's right. Tools. They had tons of cattle when they came in the land, when Israel came through. Now, we just read Zechariah, and they talk about we're going to be, he said, talking about we're going to be boiling stuff. That's flesh boiling. But I'll be honest, I don't understand it. If we're going to be in the kingdom where nothing's going to die. He said, they shall not hurt or destroy on my holy mount. I don't understand. I'm not going to try to guess. But it is what it is. I have learned through my years, just whatever the Bible says is what it is. And I'm going to go with that. I may not be able to always explain it, but it says what it says. Okay? It does. It says what it says. Whatever. Okay? And I ain't going to argue with nobody about it. It's definitely this or it's definitely that, because nobody could really, nobody, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be eating of the fruit of the tree of life. I know that. Back to our original diet of fruit. I know that. But about the other stuff, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I know that the Bible does say Messiah shall make sacrifice and oblation to cease for the overspreading of abominations. He shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation. So there's all kinds of things. But I will say this, brethren, we're going to find out real soon. That I can tell you. We're going to find out real soon. That I can tell you. But our fathers had tons of cattle. Yes, they did. So let's keep reading. All right. And we took at that time out of the hand of the two kings of the Amorites the land that was on this side of Jordan, from the river Arnon until Mount Hermon. That is before they got across the river in the land of Canaan. Before they got to the land of Canaan, they took land. Okay. Which Armon, the Sidonians, call Syrian, and their Amorites call it Shinar. All the cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, and all Salcah, and all Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of the giants. Watch this. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. For is it not in Rabbah of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length of it thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man. Now, a cubit is approximately 1.5 feet, to give you an idea. So 9 cubits is about 13.5 feet. And it says that his bed was an iron bed, 13.5 feet long. And it was 4 cubits wide, which is 6 foot. So it was 6 foot wide, 13 and a half feet long. That was the king Bashan of Og's bed. And he was a giant. Can you imagine? Yeah, he was of the giants. And they took his land and they took all his stuff. Because it didn't matter how big he was. He is bread for the children of Israel because the Father led the children of Israel. And the children of Israel came through. Praise the Most High. Verse 12. And this land which we possessed at that time from Arar, which is by the river of Arnon, and half Mount Gilead and the cities thereof gave I unto the Reubenites and to the Gadites. So Gad and Reuben were 2 of the tribes. Later we'll find out half of the tribe of Manasseh also took that land because they had a lot of cattle. And Moses is going to tell us this. Remember now, this is Moses talking to the children of Israel. The whole book of Deuteronomy is Moses talking to the children of Israel. First, he's telling, at this stage, he's telling them their history, the journeys since they left Egypt. He's telling them all the journeys, and he's about to go into the mountain of Moab and die. He's about to do that. But because remember, he's not allowed to go across now. He's not going to. Joshua's going to lead the people across. But he's giving them the whole history, and then he's giving them prophecy in the future. And then he's warning them. And of course, we know as we read the book of Deuteronomy, he's also going to give them statutes and judgments as well. So let's take a look here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 3, beginning at verse 13, reading from verse 13 down to verse 19. And the rest of Gilead and all Bashan, being the kingdom of Og, gave I unto half the tribe of Manasseh. See, so it was Reuben, Gad, and half Manasseh. All the region of Argob, with all Bashan, which is called the land of giants. Yair, the son of Manasseh, took all the country of Argob unto the coast of Geshuri and Maacaphi, and called them after his own name, Bashan, Hawath, Yair, unto this day. And I gave Gilead unto Machir, unto the Reubenites, and unto the Gadites gave I from Gilead, even unto the river of Arnon, half the valley, and the border, even unto the river Jabbok, which is the border of the children of Ammon, and the plain also, and Jordan, and the coast thereof, from Kinnereth, even unto the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, under Ashdoth Pisgah, eastward. And I commanded you at that time, saying, Yahweh your Most High hath given you this land to possess it, and ye shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel, all that are meet for war, but your wives and your little ones and your cattle, for I know that ye have much cattle, shall abide in your cities which I have given you. So, Reuben, Gad, and half the children of Manasseh got their inheritance before the children of Israel crossed over Jordan. But as part of this deal, and that's what it was, a deal, because they saw that that land that they just took was perfect for the cattle, because apparently those 2.5 tribes had the most cattle. So because of that, that land was perfect for their cattle. And so they wanted that land, and the deal was, okay, I'm going to give you this land, but all of your men of war will come and fight and help your brethren take the real land through Jordan. And they said, yes, we will do that. We're going to come through with our brethren and our armies from our brothers and sisters in Reuben and in Gad and half Manasseh, and we're going to help the rest of the tribe get their land. And we're going to leave our young people and our wives and some men folk back in the land we took to watch all of this cattle that we got. Okay, praise the Most High. Verse 20. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 20. I'm going to read from verse 20 down to verse 27. This is now Moses is going to beg for a second chance. And the Most High going to tell him, no. It's going to sound hard, but we'll see why. So watch this. This is Deuteronomy chapter 3 from verse 20 down to verse 27. Until Yahweh have given rest unto your brethren, as well as unto you, and until they also possess the land which Yahweh your Most High have given them beyond Jordan, then shall you return every man unto his possession, which I have given you. And I commanded Joshua at that time, saying, yeah, you know, his name is Yahweh. I just said Joshua for the sake of people that are listening so they can understand who we talking about. Because there's no J's in the original Hebrew or the original English. And I commanded Joshua at that time, saying, thine eyes have seen all that Yahweh your Most High hath done unto these two kings. So shall Yahweh do unto all the kingdoms whither thou passest, and ye shall not fear them. For Yahweh your Most High, he shall fight for you. And I besought Yahweh at that time, saying, O Most High Yahweh, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand. For what Most High is there in heaven or in earth that can do according to thy works and according to thy might? I pray thee, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain and Lebanon. But Yahweh was wroth with me for your sakes and would not hear me. And Yahweh said unto me, let it suffice thee, speak no more unto me of this matter. Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward, and northward, and southward, and eastward, and behold it with thine eyes, for thou shalt not go over this Jordan. Now, why was the Father so adamant that Moses would not go over? Do y'all know why? What was the reason that he said Moses wasn't going over in the first place? What caused Moses not to go over? What was the reason that Moses was not permitted to go over? That's right, Sister Cross. He struck the rock. He made himself a god. That's right. So what happened? Moses was the leader of the people. The people were chiding him. In other words, they was jumping on Moses's last nerve. And they were complaining because they didn't have no water. So Moses went to the Father, and the Father said, I want you to go, you and Aaron, and I want you to speak to the rock and let the people see you speak to the rock, and the water will gush out. But Moses was so ticked at these stiff-necked, argumentative, always tripping Hebrews that he said, must we, that is he and Aaron, fetch you water out of this rock, ye rebels? And he smote the rock twice, and the water came out. Now, he said, must we, that is him and Aaron, fetch water for you rebels out of the rock? Now, I want you to just look at this now. From the time they left the land of Ham, Moses was the leader. Moses was the one that spoke to Aaron, and Aaron spoke to Pharaoh. Moses was the one they all feared. So they saw Moses stretch his rod out, and they went across the Red Sea. Moses was the leader. So what happened in that scenario is they started to look at Moses as the God. So you remember they would say to Moses, do this for us, and where's the flesh we're going to eat? And they came at Moses, why you lead us out of Egypt? And it was the Most High that they saw the cloud, but they kept pointing at man. And they kept acting like Moses was the God. And Moses kept going to the Most High and meeting with him in the tabernacle of the congregation for his instructions. But that one time he said, must we fetch you water? It meant now all of their suspicions about him being the Most High himself and being their king himself were true. Therefore, the Most High said, you cannot go over. Because if Moses would have went over, they'd have worshipped him. And then when he died, they'd have built him some grand place, and they'd have worshipped that place. They'd have came and lit incense to it. So no. It's got to be only the Father. And this is where our brother and Moses, the Bible said, was the meekest man on the earth. And they caused that brother to fall. The Bible said they caused him to speak unadvisedly with his lips. So this is the thing. The lesson for me and you, check this out. We ain't Moses. In other words, if those Negroes, if them Hebrews could cause Moses to fall, brothers and sisters, we got to always remember it's about the Father. And that's why we understand we're going to be outnumbered, outgunned. We're not going to have internet or phones or guns or weapons. We're going to be completely dependent on the Heavenly Father. And that way, the Heavenly Father and Him alone gets glory for our deliverance. You understand? He alone gets the glory. And it would have been that case if Moses didn't say what he said. You see, brethren, again, I have learned both the hard way myself as well as watching other people. See, there's two ways we can gain wisdom, brethren. There are two ways. The better way is this first way, from the mistakes of others. It's better for us to gain wisdom watching and learning from the mistakes of others. The second way is a little bit harsher, from our own mistakes, from getting our behind whipped ourselves. We can watch other people get their behind whipped and learn from that. Okay? And learn from that, rather than us having to get our behind whipped from the Heavenly Father because of our own stupid hit. You're going to learn now. That's right. Touching the third, they touched Moses' third rail. And he had it with them fools. And yeah, that's right. And he said, no, you can't go in because the people would worship you. You can't go in. That's what he said. He said, you did not sanctify me before the people. You didn't sanctify me before the people. See? And so they exasperated our boy and he messed up. So now he's realizing they're on the precipice of going into the land. And he asked one more time, can you please, consider me? Let me go in. Nope. You can't go in. Nope. Now, later on, of course, Jude tells us, as well as two of the apostles, Luke, I believe, and maybe Matthew, at least two of them, maybe it was Mark, two of them told us Moses was standing up there with Elijah and the Messiah. And Jude said that there was a dispute between Messiah, who was Michael, and the devil about Moses' body. Now, why was that? Well, who is Messiah? He is the resurrection and the life. So he came to resurrect Moses, and there was a dispute with the devil. See? So, but of course, you can't Most High ain't disputing with that fool. He just said, Yahweh rebuke you. Get away. And he took Moses, which is why we see him standing on the mountain with Elijah and the Messiah. So he was not permitted to lead the children of Israel over Jordan, but he is in the kingdom even now because who he is. And Most High did not treat him like every other prophet, as he said himself. He said, I speak to Moses, my servant, as a man speaketh to his friend. The father wasn't going to be separated from his friend book for so long. You understand? So that's why he did take him up. But Moses was not permitted to go across the river Jordan. So here, let's start now, verse 28. But charge Joshua and encourage him and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which thou shalt see. Yes. So Joshua or YHWH or Yeshua, he is the one that leading the people across. And when we come through for real this time, YHWH is going to lead us again. Praise the Most High. So we abode in the valley over against Bath Peor. Oh, that was chapter 3. Okay, that's it. That's chapter 3. All right, so that was chapter 3. Yeah, again, that's when Israel came through. Now, like I said, when we get to chapter 4, which is tomorrow, we get to chapter 4, we're going to be talking about our family history and how should we be teaching our children. The Bible actually instructs us how we should be teaching our children about our history in chapter 4. And it also gives us some very powerful instruction. Again, like we know this witness there. It said, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, Let every word be established. And today, about Israel coming through, we saw 7 witnesses, right? So the stronger the amount of witnesses, the stronger the doctrine. You hear what I'm saying? So like when people are teaching on YouTube or whatever, if they don't have 2 or 3 witnesses on any specific doctrine, today we're talking about us coming through, and we saw 7 witnesses, and we could have got more, but we had 7. So we know we're going to be coming through, right? But if somebody come with a doctrine and they teaching you something that sound funny and they don't have 2 or 3 witnesses that match the doctrine, it's not a doctrine. Okay, have 2 or 3, and the more witnesses they have, the stronger that doctrine is, isn't it? See, the more witnesses they have, the stronger that doctrine is. We got, let me see, righteousness by faith. Paul obviously is a witness to righteousness by faith. Ezekiel is a witness to righteousness by faith. Jeremiah is a witness to righteousness by faith. Zechariah is a witness to righteousness by faith. You see, in the mouth of 2 or 3. In this case, I just named 4 off the top of my head. Paul, Zechariah, Ezekiel, right? What else did I say? Ezekiel, Zechariah. What else did I say? Ezekiel, Zechariah, Paul. I'm missing one. Oh, wait. Jeremiah. Thank you, Sister Cross. Jeremiah, of course, chapter 23. That's right. So you got 4 witnesses: Jeremiah, Zechariah, Ezekiel, and Paul. I probably could find one in Isaiah too if I really wanted to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's there. So, yeah. So in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. So now you know that's an important doctrine. It's right there. See? So praise the Most High. So tomorrow we're looking at Deuteronomy chapter 4. Praise the Most High. And we'll talk about our history of our people, of the children of Israel's history. Praise the Most High. All of the people of the children of Israel that are scattered in all corners of the earth have the same history. Praise the Most High. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And may he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.